Hey, welcome back to the Bound by Art podcast. I'm Missi Blue, tattoo artist, business owner, and your guide to navigating the chaos that is the tattoo industry. If you're an artist looking to grow your business, attract the right clients, and learn how to survive this career without losing your damn mind, then you are in the right place. Every week, I'll be bringing real talk, actionable tips, and hard-earned lessons from my own journey with a side of good vibes and a little bit of sarcasm. Whether you're new to the game, feeling stuck, or you just need a kick in the ass to get that spark back again, this is the show for you. Welcome to Bound by Art. Now let's get to work. I have people ask me all the time for my advice on doing conventions, like how to prepare, what to expect, what to do. And usually it's somebody who's never done a convention before. Sometimes it's people who have done conventions, but they've only done a few and they want to make it less chaotic and a little more manageable. I never know what to say in the moment though. And because I think of 1,000 ideas of things that I could tell them to make it better, but it's not really a quick answer. So I decided that I was going to actually think about it and come up with my answers and just make it a podcast episode. So I've officially come up with my answers, which honestly took me way longer than I expected, but today's episode is all of my advice, tips, and tricks about working at a tattoo convention. So where to even start, first of all? Which conventions do you do? There's so many. At this point, I feel like at any given weekend, there's a convention somewhere like within a couple hours of you. It's honestly fucking crazy, but where do you do local? Do you travel? Like, what do you do? So my advice for your first convention is to just do something local because you're just trying to get the experience. You're trying to get more clients. It's going to be most beneficial for you to stay close to home, especially with costs. Like you're not paying for a flight. You're just driving there. If it's close enough, you can just drive home and you don't have to pay for hotels. People might not get tattooed there at that convention, but they might remember you and they might come to your shop when they're ready. They might be looking for you next year when you come back. And you can also try to convince your existing clients and existing appointments to just come get tattooed there instead of at your shop, especially if they're your regulars. It makes everything so much less stressful if you are working on someone that you already know. It's like one less little bit of pressure that you can take off. For travel, it just doesn't make sense to me to travel for your first convention unless you moved away and you're going back home and there's a convention in your hometown. That makes sense to me. For example, I grew up in Florida. I started tattooing in Florida. So when if I was doing my first convention, decided to make that in, Orlando or something, that would make sense because I already have people there. I already know I can make appointments there. But otherwise, I wouldn't be like, I want to go to Colorado. I'm going to go book a convention. You would be much better off just doing like a guest spot there or something. It's expensive. So you have to pay for your flight, your hotel. You may have to get a rental car. It's not worth it. It's going to be really hard for you to book out. It might be fun, but you might be stuck there doing nothing for days. So up to you. But my opinion is just stick local until you get the swing of things. So first you're going to apply for the convention, which there's different kinds of conventions. There's some where you're invite only and you have to be invited to be able to go. And then there's some that are, they just base it off of your work and whether or not you meet their standards. So you apply and then they have to approve you. And there's others that they just don't give a fuck. And if you're willing to pay for a booth, you get a booth and you can work. But regardless, they're all going to be looking at your experience. A lot of places won't let you have a booth unless you've been tattooing for 2 years. They're, like I said, looking at your ability and your skill. I feel like all conventions should do this, but they don't. But looking at, does your work meet the standard that they hold for their convention? And you also have to consider licensing. Different states have different licensing requirements. Bloodborne pathogens is pretty standard. You probably should just have that anyway, just being a tattoo artist, even if they don't require it in your state. They don't require anything where I live, and I make all of my artists do bloodborne pathogen training every year and stay up to date on that. You really should just have that, but they're going to ask for those things in, certain places. So once you get approved, then you're going to want to decide, are you booking appointments ahead? Are you going to be taking walk-ups? And why would you want to do one over the other? So booking ahead, if you're worried about making your money back, if you want to enter like a tattoo of the day contest, if you want to just make sure that you're busy the whole weekend, those are all good reasons to book yourself up ahead of time. Also, people pay more attention to the artists that are already working. So when people are just randomly walking through, if you're doing a tattoo, they're going to come over and look. They want to see what you're doing. If you're just sitting there looking grumpy, not talking to people, looking pathetic, people kind of like scoot past real quick because they're like, ooh, this person's going to try and like grab me and like get me to get a tattoo. And they kind of, I don't know, they kind of avoid the people who aren't working, I noticed. So it's really kind of beneficial to you to be working. Why would you want to take walk-ups? If you care more about the exposure than making your money back, it's a good reason to do walk-ups. It's more time for you to meet people and make those connections and talk to them and find new clients. And you get to sell your flash. It's kind of low pressure if you are just doing like your pre-drawn stuff. If you're doing a walk-up that you have to draw, that's a little different. Unless you're really good at that, drawing on the spot can be kind of stressful. I personally don't mind it as long as the idea is good. I think it's kind of fun sometimes. I don't do walk-ups at conventions. I try not to. I just try to do one big piece and call it a day. But if you want that like low pressure and you want to be social and you want to meet people and talk to people, selling your flash, taking walk-ups all weekend is a really great way to go. My advice is to have someone to tattoo first, regardless, whether you're taking walk-ups or not. Have someone with you, like maybe it's the apprentice, maybe it's just your friend, whoever. The first couple of hours of a convention, if you're tattooing, like I said, it makes people walk up and see what you're doing, especially like, so if you have somebody who has like a big thigh piece that you started the line work on and you have to color it in, set them up, work on coloring it in and angle yourself in a way that like people can see what you're working on as they're walking past and, make sure it's something cool and impressive, and they'll come over and look and be like, oh, wow. And then you make sure you have your sign that says, I have appointments available this weekend. So if you don't have that sign out there, they're not going to know. They're going to assume that you're booked all weekend. So if you have a sign out there that says like that you're taking appointments, they walk up, they're looking, talk to them. Make sure you're telling them, I have time. What do you want to get? Are you looking to get tattooed this weekend? Say something to them, talk to them. You can position yourself close to the front table so that you can talk to people. Next, you want to make sure that your portfolio is sitting out where people can see it. So there's different ways people do this. I used to use a book. A lot of people still use a book. I have switched over to just having 8x10 sitting out on the table. So I'll take like 6 or so of my best tattoos and put them out on the table. I usually have to split a table with James, but and he has a lot of shit, so I only get like half a table. If you have the whole table, fuck it, take it all up. But put a bunch of your best work out there for people to see when they walk past. The reason I like this is I noticed that people don't really flip through the books like they used to. I don't know if it's like an attention span thing or what, but people used to come up and flip through the books. They don't do it anymore. They'll like glance over and then keep walking. So if the 2 pictures that are showing in your portfolio aren't something that interests them, they're going to keep going. But if you have a chance, like 6 different pictures sitting out there, maybe one of those other pictures would grab their attention, whereas, the 2 that you think are the best are not. So it's just like an extra chance to just like attract a client. And then, I also will keep my book out there. So if they see those 6 pictures and they like them, then they can flip through my book, which I've seen them do. Another way I've seen people do it is where they have like a digital, like a digital picture frame where it flips through different tattoos. This seems like a lot of work to like constantly update. Maybe it's not more work than getting stuff printed, but I don't know. That doesn't interest me. So you can do that if you want to, but then you have to also plug it in or make sure it's like got a, charged battery or however that fucking works. I don't know. But those are just different ways to display your work. And then you want to make sure you have a banner that is legible, has your name on it, has your location. So if I'm doing a convention in Philly, I want to make sure that my banner says Hanover, Pennsylvania, because I want people to know that I am close by. So they can say, oh, Hanover, where's that? And they can Google it and say, oh, that's not too far away. I'm going to take this person's card and go follow them or whatever, because that's somewhat local and I like their work. So make sure you have your location. Make sure the image on your banner aligns with what you do, with the type of stuff that you want to do, because you don't want to have, like, that's just another way to attract people. You don't want to have some random shit that has nothing to do with anything that you do on your banner representing you. It doesn't make sense. If you're taking walk-ups, put your wanna-dos and your flash out. I've seen people do it in a book before, and again, people are not flipping through books. So put it out on the table where people can see it. I would tape it down so people don't just fucking walk off with your line work, but put it on the table so everyone can see all the designs. And I also personally would use hand-drawn designs, not just printed off things, because hand-drawn just looks more impressive. And I feel like people trust you more when they see that you can actually physically draw it and it's not just like a computer thing. I will say that I've seen a lot of booths where they have a ton of flash out and it's so much that it's overwhelming. Narrow it down. Like if you have, I don't know, man, if you have like 200 designs and you put them all on your table, I'm not stopping. Like that's too much information. I'm going to get information overload. I'm like, no. If I'm walking past and they have like a reasonable amount of designs that I could easily look through them all in a couple minutes, I might stand there and look, that's just me. Maybe that's not everybody, and you could do the same thing like what I do with my portfolio, like put your favorite pieces out there that you want to do. And if they're looking and they're not looking, they like your work, but they don't see anything that they specifically want, you could say, oh, I have more in this book if you want to check this book out too. And then they can flip through the book. It's like you kind of reel them in with like the very obvious things that they like, and then you feed them more, Business cards. I mean, I've made this mistake too, so I can't really say much, but don't be that guy that forgot the business cards, like you have to have something so they can follow you. Otherwise, why are you there? You can also use QR codes, which I do. I do both. I put my cards out there and I put them on several locations on the table. So it's like, no matter where they're looking, there's a place where they can see a card and grab a card. And then I have like a little QR code on the table where it takes them right to my Instagram. They can follow me. Cards are quick and easy. You just want to make sure that they stand out. So think about like if you're walking through a convention, there's 100 something booths. You take a card from every single booth. When you get home and you go through those cards, the boring ones are going to skip over. The ones that look really cool or have something interesting on it, or they say something funny, or they say something memorable on it, that's the one you're going to be like, oh, who is this again? And then you're going to go look them up. So make your card stand out from other cards. Like what's going to be different about it? What's different about you? On my card, I say, what does my card say? Is it something like, I do pet portraits, like real big, like, cause it's like, that's the thing that I do the most is pet portraits. And I want that to be the forefront of my card. So there's no question about which artist I was. It's like, oh, this is the girl that does pet portraits. Maybe they'll be like, which girl was it? But then they'll go look me up. So they took it for a reason. And the reason was I do pet portraits. So I make that clear as day. And again, make sure the image is aligned with the stuff that you do and, the stuff that you want to do. You can also put a QR code on your business card, which I just started doing. And I don't know why it took me so long to figure that out. But then they don't have to like go and type it in, like try and like fucking find it and they spell it wrong, whatever. It just takes them straight to the thing and then they can, follow. But the QR codes on the table make them more likely to follow you on the spot, and they won't lose the card, which is also another possibility with business cards. The downside to that is that they might forget about you. They followed you and then they never think about you again. But my tip on that one is after the convention, I go through everyone that followed me during that convention. I go through and I message them and say, hey, thanks for following me. It doesn't take long. Like even if you had like 100 new followers, copy paste. Like it doesn't take that long. And then you're back on their radar. Freebies on the table. So I like to give people free shit because people like to get free shit. So sometimes I'll have free stickers, and if you're going to do free stickers, make them cool. Don't put like boring shit out there. Make a cool sticker. Don't forget to put your name on it. Put your name, your Instagram, whatever. Make sure it's on the sticker. I've definitely fucked that up too. It's like, cool sticker. Who made it? I don't remember, and make sure it has how to find you, your Instagram handle, whatever. Candy. I always have a candy bowl. Sure, there's people that come up and just take candy, don't look at anything, and they run away. Fine, whatever. But sometimes it brings people over and then they see the work and they start talking, and it's just like a way to open up that communication. Temporary tattoos, kind of fun. Kids love it. If you appeal to the kids, you appeal to the parents. If you don't like kids, I don't recommend you do this, but it's a good way to get people to come over to your table. If you're going to sell merch, there is definitely a trick to this. I sell a lot of merch. If you ever see me out at a convention, I have a ton of merch. I don't bring it all with me for a reason. I have in the past brought everything I make. All it does is overwhelm people. Like I was saying with the flash, it's too much and people don't want to look at it and they don't want to take the time. They want something to catch their eye, and then they go over. If they like it, they'll buy it. If they see something else they like, they'll buy that too. So I definitely say quality over quantity when it comes to merch, and just make it an easy choice for them. So, that's why I don't like to go to diners, because there's too many things to choose from, and I get like this choice, like overwhelm almost, where I can't make a decision. If you have too many fucking things, like it's going to be harder for them to decide. But if you only have like 10 different, 10 stickers to choose from, they're going to pick a couple of their favorites, or if you have like a few different prints, they're going to pick one. But if you have like 50 and they're trying to sort through all of this, they're going to be like, they don't even remember half the shit they looked at. So just make it easy for them and just bring your best work and just display that. The best ways that I have found to display my merch is, so for my stickers, I have a spinny rack now. I kind of rigged it so that it breaks down really small. And I've tried other ways too. I used to bring these poles, they're like retractable poles, and I used to hang like a ribbon across the front of the booth and put all the stickers on that. And that works too. Like anything where you can get them, like get your merch like in their face, like at their eye level, it works really well. It's hard to do if you are also trying to talk to people. That was the reason I stopped doing the string across, because it was like literally like right at our eye level, and it was annoying as fuck to try and talk to people around it. The spinny racks work really well when people realize they spin, because they're flat. So they don't always know there's another side to them. So I have to literally put a sign on that says spin me, or people will just look at one side and leave. I put those out there. People also just like to touch things. So I do try to put things out that people will want to touch. So I put a fuzzy blanket on my table. Everyone wants to come touch the fuzzy blanket. Don't steal my idea. Actually, just kidding. Take that away. Don't use a fuzzy blanket. People hate it. But you want to make it easy to get to the things as well. So like the spin rack, you don't want it to be like so far back on the table that they have to reach across the table. I mean, it's not a big table, but people feel like they're like encroaching in your booth if they have to reach all the way over to spin the rack. I notice if I keep it out close to the edge of the table, they're more likely to actually look through it and touch things. The same goes for putting stuff on the back of your booth, like where your banner is. Don't do it. No one's going to see it. They're not even looking over there. They're just looking eyes down at your table, because a lot of times people don't even want to look up at you because they don't want you to talk to them because they're afraid that you're going to try and like sell them something or whatever. So a lot of times they're just eyes down. Don't bother putting anything back there. Make your pricing obvious. I have to put pricing in several different locations and people will still say how much. Don't get annoyed. Don't be shitty. Just answer their question. You could literally put it on the thing and they probably will still ask. It's just how it goes. I don't fucking know. And make it easy for them to pay. So I have a Venmo and a Cash App QR code that I have in several places on the table as well, so they can do that. I have change ready always. And if you're selling merch and you're going to be tattooing, make sure there's someone there to help you, because it's annoying as fuck when you're trying to tattoo and you have to keep stopping to sell stuff. I know it's like it's so hard out here with my merch being so popular. But if you are trying to sell a lot of stuff and also be tattooing, you have to have somebody there to help you. It's just madness if you don't. So I always bring help. If I'm bringing my merch, if I'm bringing a lot of stuff, if I'm bringing just a couple of things, like I'll try to deal with it myself. The spinny rack is easy with the stickers because I'll say you can scan the QR code. Like even if you're tattooing, like, hey, they were this much, like just scan the QR code if you want to pay by Venmo or Cash App. If you need change, just gonna have to give me a minute. I can take a break, whatever. So, but It's always good to bring someone with you if you're going to be tattooing the whole time because they can talk you up and they can talk for you and they can attract people, have people come over to the booth, look at your stuff. If you have a lot of merch to sell, you can bring little like shopping bags to give people. And I have these like, little gift bags that I put stuff in and I always put my card. I put like my free sticker in there, maybe some candy, like whatever. I just make like a little, I don't know, like a little thing because I'm extra like that. But always, always, always make sure they have your card when they buy something. They buy something, here's a card too. Make sure you follow us. And if you have more stuff for sale, like for example, I have my Etsy where I sell like a ton of other stuff. I let them know like, hey, I have way more stuff online. I didn't want to bring it all because it's so much, but if you want to check it out, the link is on my card. Like, go check out my Etsy. You might like some of that stuff too. So make sure I tell them that. Also, be aware of your overall like vibe of your booth. I like to kind of pick a theme or like a color scheme for the booth, which depending on who I'm working with, sometimes they don't like that as much, especially if it's the boys. But I try to like have my tablecloth match my banner, and like there's a whole like vibe to it. So it works. It attracts people. Like if people glance at your booth, they know exactly who you are, what you're about, what you like to do at first glance. Like that's gonna be so beneficial to you. And you want to just make it attractive at least and make it easy to read and approachable. If you're going to book appointments ahead of time, I recommend drawing everything ahead. I say this and knowing damn well that I don't do this. I try, this is something that I strive for, but it's not always how it goes. I will draw like half of it and the rest of it I'm like panic drawing at the hotel or the Airbnb or whatever. But if you can get everything drawn ahead, it saves you so much like stress of, you're at the convention super late, then you have to go back to your hotel or your Airbnb and then you have to draw and then like get up early, finish the drawing, and you kind of set yourself up for a shitty day. I just happen to thrive in chaos, so it's fine. I deal with it, but you really shouldn't, especially your first convention, especially if you're booking appointments ahead, just fucking draw ahead. Just save yourself the headache. So for packing can be chaotic and hard and stressful. So I created a packing list for myself. I actually have several packing lists. So it's like conventions, guest spots, if I'm doing a guest spot and convention, if I'm driving to the convention, if I'm flying to the convention, like flying and driving to guest spot. I have like different ones for different occasions just because I need different shit for different things. So, and I also at this point have trained my assistant and my manager to pack stuff for me so that I don't have to do it because I like to delegate things that I don't like to do. But as long as I have a list to check things off of, it's going to be really hard for me to forget stuff. But I also edit them as I go. So if I need to make a change or if my needs change at all, or if I came up with a better idea, I go back and fix my list so that it's always up to date and accurate. And then I keep my list in my travel case that I use for convention. So it's always there. I don't have to go looking for it. I know exactly what to pack. And in fact, I actually I travel so much that I keep my travel box like stocked already with everything that I can. I almost have doubles of everything except for my inks. I don't do that. But everything else I pretty much have doubles of so that I don't really need to do anything when I leave. I just have to check to make sure it's fully stocked and add the things that don't stay in the box, and that's about it. But that's me doing like a convention every month. So if you're not doing that kind of level of traveling, like you probably don't want to do that. My tips for using a list though, don't cross that shit off until it's in the box. Like I have been guilty in the past of being like, yeah, I'm going to put this in the box, cross it off, never fucking put it in the box, got distracted, whatever. And I get there and I don't have it. And so now I have to like physically put it in. Okay, it's in the box. Now I'm going to cross it off. So, and then I'm always checking again before I leave, like one final check to make sure everything is there for sure. Even if my assistant packs and even, after all this time, like I know she's not going to fuck it up. I still like something inside of me just can't let go of that control. And I need to know that it's actually done. It's actually in there and I'm not going to stress about it the whole way. Shit, even if I pack it early, I'm still checking on myself. So I just can't, I don't know. I just can't just like accept that it's done because it feels like maybe for so many years I would like panic and pack last minute and forget stuff. So I just can't trust even myself. I think over the last year or so, though, I have lightened up a lot because honestly, like worst case scenario, you forgot something, just fucking buy it at the convention because they always have a supply booth there. Like, sure, it might be more inconvenient to have to go over there and buy something, but like, is it worth getting all worked up and stressed out? Like, if you forget something, whatever. Like, worst case scenario, you buy it. No big deal. So driving to a convention is always preferred. If you can drive there, you can bring whatever the fuck you want to, and it's really nice. And the loading docks can be an absolute nightmare, but I think I still prefer it over flying. So when you drive, you can bring your fucking chair, which I love doing because my back sucks. And sitting in those hard fold up chairs that they give you is absolute torture. And not being able to like roll around also really sucks. And you don't really consider that until you don't have wheels under you. You're like, fuck, like you have to like scoot your chair like every time you have to move. And then not being able to adjust the height on your chair really sucks. It's just, there's no cushion. It's awful. So if you can bring your chair, fucking bring it. I recommend it. And bring your massage table if you're driving. You can rent them there. So a lot of conventions will have them for rent for like $100, but it's like a race to get there before they're all gone. And it's just nice to have your own shit. It's just one less thing to do when you get there. I'm kind of a spoiled brat, so I have my paper towels like already torn and ready to go. I do this in my shop, and if you're not like this, then this might not matter to you, but I like to just have as much time as possible to tattoo and less shit to worry about. So if my paper towels are already torn, I'm just grabbing a stack and like just getting ready to fucking tattoo. That's it. Sit down. I don't want to spend my time doing dumb bullshit like that. So I also try to bring a printer if I'm driving. They usually have them. Well, I won't say usually. A lot of conventions have them. I know Villain Arts conventions have them, but it sucks because you have to like wait in line. It's like a mad rush at the beginning of the day, especially on Friday, to like go get all your stuff printed out. It's just better if you have it. If you drew your stuff ahead of time, print it out in a bunch of different sizes so that you can make your stencils from that. I bring a stencil maker if I'm driving also because it's just good to have one. Even if they do have one at the convention, it cuts down on the time that you need to prepare. Because sometimes like you'll want to get in there and get ready and go get your stencil made, but they're not even fucking over there yet. You have to wait for them to get there. And next thing you know, it's like time to start your tattoo and you have to like wait in line to get a stencil. It's a pain in the ass. So bring your own. You don't have to tip them. I mean, okay, let me say that again. If they print your stencil, please tip them. They fucking sit there all day doing that bullshit. But you don't have to tip if you bring your own. That's what I'm saying. Like, or you don't have to feel like a dick because you forgot to bring cash with you up there to get a stencil. And then he'll have to like, I'll get you next time, I promise. And then hopefully you remember because I know they're remembering me when I don't. And you also don't have to feel like a dick if you have to redo the stencil like 5 times or like change the size and do it again and be like, sorry, can you just like do another one of this? Thanks. If I'm flying, I'm trying to bring as little shit as possible. One of the biggest questions people ask me is inks. How do you pack your inks and not have them explode? I have literally tried it all, and it turns out you do nothing. It's so fucked because for so many years I was like, you gotta put a fucking ink cap inside the bottle and you gotta wrap it up with a saran wrap and do this, like all this shit, and they would explode every fucking time. And then I just stopped trying and they stopped exploding. It's so stupid. Every once in a while I'll get one that explodes because I probably just like didn't close it all the way or something. But now I put them in baggies by color family. So I'll put them in like Ziploc bags, just like all my blues, all my greens, yellows, whatever. That way it's just like if one of them explodes, I don't have fucking like white ink all over my black ink bottle or something. I don't know. It's just like I mean, it's the same amount of cleanup, I guess. I don't know. It's just something about having the wrong color on a bottle that I can't handle. But yeah, I just literally make sure all the caps are closed tight, like twist it on there and the little like twisty part of it. Make sure it's just tight. Put it in a Ziploc bag, call it a fucking day. When I pack my, like, if I pack disposables and liquids, I pack them separately now because fucking that's burned me too many times. So if you don't have a travel case that has different sections in it, so I'll put like all the liquids and stuff in one section, all the paper stuff in another section. But if you don't have that, you can just put all your liquids in Ziploc bags. Worst case scenario, it leaks inside the bag and it doesn't fuck up everything else. And then bring extra Ziploc bags for the drive or for the trip home because you're probably going to throw them away, especially if something leaks or explodes. You're going to want those extra bags. Or you can just buy the liquid shit when you get there. Water, alcohol, Maticide, green soap. Water, they're usually not going to, they don't really supply, they used to supply distilled water. They don't really do that anymore. So at some point, you're going to have to make it to a store to buy some water. But alcohol, Maticide, green soap, I'm pretty sure they sell at the supply companies. So you can always just grab it there or borrow some. I don't know. A portable light, they make some that fold down like super small. That's going to be the easiest thing for travel, especially if you're flying. Power strips are another one. Like you can't have too many power strips. I always bring a couple because someone always fucking forgot one and I'm not sharing. So I'll like bring 2 or 3. You can bring some kind of organizer for your supplies if you want. I used to use an over the door like shoe organizer that worked really great. That was before I got my toolbox. My toolbox has like awesome organization on the top of it, but I just use an over the door shoe organizer and I would put like all my different disposables, my needles and stuff in there. It was great. Hard to like hang. Like you can hang it on the little what's it called? Like the divider thing in between booths. But then it's only on one side. So if you're sharing with people, it's kind of a pain in the ass, but it works really well. Speakers or headphones. It gets loud as fucking conventions, especially like Villain Arts ones. And if you're someone that gets overwhelmed easily, overstimulated, you can't concentrate when it's really loud and noisy, be prepared. It's going to be a lot. And if you can't handle that, you're going to want to figure out a way to check out. And that's usually with headphones. It spares you, your energy because it can just be mentally draining. Like not even just the sound alone, but like people walking past you all day. Like they could not even talk to you all day. Just people walking past your booth all day is just overwhelming. For me anyway, maybe it's an introvert thing, but like it just drains the fuck out of me just to be around that many people and hear, like all the loud fucking like the speaker and the announcer and everybody's talking and fucking everybody's got their music blaring and fucking coil machines. Like it's just too much sometimes. So yeah, if you can't handle that, and you need to be able to escape that, I would definitely recommend headphones. It also, bonus effect, filters out the people that are trying to talk to you that you don't want to talk to. So if you're tattooing and you're really like trying to concentrate and you have people leaning over the table to try and talk to you and you cannot deal with them, like you could just pretend like you didn't hear them, right? They're not there. They don't exist, especially if you're like your back turned to them. And then you're not the asshole. You just didn't, I don't know. I just didn't hear you, man. Sorry. That reminds me, like decide if you want to be accessible to people or not. So if you want to interact with people, if you're that type of person, I don't know. I don't know how you do it, but if you're that type of person that likes to just sit there and talk to people while you're tattooing, make sure you're sitting closer to the table. So if you bring like a dental tray or something, like set yourself up so that you're closer to the table side rather than the back of the booth so that you can actually have a conversation, especially if it's loud. You want to be close enough to where like you can hear each other, unless you have a loud voice. I don't, but sit closer, face out towards the aisle so that you can have conversations with people. And it's honestly really good to do if you're trying to gain new clients. If you have your back to people all day, it's going to be really hard for you to connect with people. But if you're trying to focus, like say you're there to do like a really big, like complicated piece and you just need to focus and you cannot deal with distractions and you just don't want to deal with people, turn your back, like sit further away from the table, make sure your back is facing the aisle, put your headphones on, do your thing, like whatever. No one's going to bother you. But again, bring a helper if you can. So if you're going to be tattooing all weekend, you want to have somebody there to talk to people. You could, trade them for a tattoo on Friday. You need somebody to tattoo anyway. Like tell them like, hey, let me tattoo you on Friday and you work the booth the rest of the weekend. Or maybe it's the shop apprentice or your apprentice or a friend that just wants to hang out and they don't mind hanging out if they get a free tattoo, whatever. Like pay someone. Fuck, I pay the person. Like I don't want to be obligated to anybody, so I just pay them. Like I'll usually like just do a flat rate for the weekend. Like, hey, I'll pay you X amount. If you just do the booth the whole weekend, I'll pay, I'll get you in for free. You can stay with us for free at the hotel, like whatever. It's more complicated when you fly because then you have to pay for a fucking flight. And it's like, starts to get really expensive. So it has to be worth it. But if you're driving, it's real easy to just bring someone with you. It could be a client. Like I've seen people bring their clients out, like a different client every day just hangs out, or like the client's boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. Just anybody, but just make sure they're friendly and they're not like some grumpy person, because they're there to talk to people for you and represent you. And you want to make sure it's somebody that's like actually helping and not hurting you. And if they sell a bunch of merch and they do like an extra good job, I might even like tip them out extra too. However, if you are not tattooing, get your ass up and go talk to people. Nothing and no one is going to represent you better than yourself. Don't take this as your chance to just hide behind someone else while they do all the work trying to sell you as an artist. That is bullshit behavior. Some tips for talking to people though, because I know it's hard. It's hard to fucking strike up a conversation with 100 strangers every day. Compliment them. This works every fucking time. It's literally that easy. Hey, I like your shirt. I like your shoes. But it has to be genuine though. If you're just like saying stuff and you don't mean it, like it's very obvious, like just pick something out that you see, like, oh, let me check out that tattoo, it looks awesome, whatever it is, like just say any kind of compliment to them and they immediately will feel obligated to come to the booth and look at what you have. It works every time. And then once they're over there, say, are you having fun? Are you planning on getting tattooed this weekend? Are you here with someone getting tattooed? Ask them something about themselves. Where are they from? Are you here for the day or the whole weekend? Just strike up a conversation. Or, if they are wearing a shirt of a band that you like, oh, what did you think about the album? Like, whatever. Just relate to them in some way. Ask them questions about themselves. Don't talk about you. Don't talk about the artist. Like, just talk about them. And one of my favorite strategies, once they're at the booth, I call it no dead ends. So I always have a next step for them. So they want to get tattooed, but I'm booked all weekend. Oh, get on my email list and you'll get notified when I have openings or when I'm traveling. My next booking day is this. I'm going to be back here on this date. Do you want to get on my cancellation date for this? Do you want me to put you on my list to get a hold of the next time I'm in town? These are like, there's always something that I can have them do, or like ask them, try and get them like locked in for a future appointment, or at least like showing interest for a future appointment. So some things to expect with conventions. If you're going solo, I recommend staying in the suggested hotels. It can be really cool to see the other artists. You'll catch them in the lobby, in the elevators, the gym, at the pool, the hot tub, whatever. It's a chance to meet people and have real conversations with these artists that you're probably not really going to get much of a chance to talk to during the convention. And by the way, the best people are always at the gym in the morning. So if you're a gym person, I suggest getting there around 8, 9 o'clock. You're gonna see like the cool guys in the gym, in my opinion. If you're going with a group, an Airbnb is probably the way to go. As far as price, like you can't beat the price of an Airbnb over like all of you staying in different hotel rooms. Ease of parking. Sometimes parking at hotels can be really expensive. So Airbnbs, a lot of times they have their own parking. Philly, however, sucks. Fucking sucks. Any way you look at it. Nope. I got my car towed one year in Philly because I thought I found a parking spot right outside the Airbnb. It's crazy. Like what a lucky coincidence. And I got up in the morning, my car was towed because I parked in a handicapped parking spot. I didn't see the sign. But yeah, so most of the time though, parking for an Airbnb is going to be way better and cheaper than, parking at a hotel. Food. So I always meal prep and pack food. So it's really nice to have a kitchen that you can cook actual meals in and just, we can cook breakfast, we can cook dinners together. It's nice to have a living room to hang out in. So we all like hang out in the living room, talk and bullshit and draw together after the convention. I prefer to stay in an Airbnb. I don't think I ever do convention solo, so hotel is really never an option for me. Another thing to expect is that lately conventions have been really fucking slow. I've seen a huge downward trend in the amount of attendees, and it's almost like they know that there's not going to be walk-ups available a lot of times, and I've heard a lot of people say like, why even bother going? Like, it's not like you're going to be able to get tattooed. Everybody gets appointments ahead of time. So I really think that's kind of killing part of the convention. But also, there's just so many conventions. There's like I was saying earlier, there's like a convention every fucking weekend, everywhere. It's absolute insanity. It also takes the novelty away from it. So if there's a convention every weekend at any time, like, why is it like, why would we go to this specific convention? Like, what's so special about this one? We can just catch the next one. There's no, I don't know, there's like no build up, there's no anticipation for it because you can always just find another convention. So I think that isn't helping anything. But also new conventions I'm noticing are real fucking bad at marketing them. Fuck it. I'm gonna call them out. I don't give a fuck. So I just did a convention in Tampa earlier this year. I won't say the name of it, but fuck. What a fucking joke that convention was. What a fucking joke. I luckily had my own clients because, like I said, I'm from Florida. So I luckily like booked ahead. But they spent more time and effort booking the entertainment and the unnecessary bullshit than they did on marketing that event. I never saw more than like a handful of people walking through the aisles at any given time. And most of them were either like tattoo artists or they were clients already getting tattooed. I had so many people, no, so many of my friends were there, like planning to take walk-ups, left early because there was no one. It was a fucking ghost town. And I was also signed up to do another convention in Florida that was giving me like the same exact vibes. And 2 months out, they still hadn't even shared that I was going to be there. And I was like, fuck this. Like, I see where this is going because I wasn't booking anything. That was the other thing is like, no one was reaching out to book. Usually pretty good at booking, but I guess maybe because I just did a convention in Tampa, that one, I didn't have, the client pool that I normally would have. I don't know, but it was just giving me the same vibes. And I was like, fuck this. 2 months out, I said, I'm done. No, not doing this. I'm not fucking wasting my money and my time going down there to sit there all weekend and do nothing. So I bailed. And I was 1000% correct because everyone I know that went there said that it was bullshit and it was just fucking dead, like completely dead. There was no one there. So I'm saying if you're getting that vibe that it's not professional and it's not being promoted well and that you're going to be counting on walk-ups, fucking bail out. Don't do it. Unfortunately, they wouldn't refund my money. So fuck you guys. But I gladly took the hit to not fucking sit there all weekend. So whatever. But overall though, most conventions lately, there's not a lot of walk-ups. So I wouldn't really count on a walk-up to cover the bills. But if you're just trying to, get your name out there, just meet some people, talk to people, whatever, I would just like set your expectations low. And if you get walk-ups, cool. If not, like, you won't be too upset about it. But I, prefer to just book appointments ahead of time if you can. Another thing to expect is to be absolutely fucking exhausted every night. Being around that many people all day, like I said, it's overwhelming. It's exhausting. There's loud music, announcing all day. You get real tired of their voice. It's 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Exhausting. It's so much. You can also assume that the food is going to suck. It's going to be expensive. It's going to take forever. And I have not experienced very many conventions that have healthy options for people. So if you have any kind of special diet or restrictions, or you just want to eat good food that's not going to make you like shit yourself or like feel disgusting, I recommend not eating there and bringing your own food. All of that said, here's some ways I've learned to make things a little easier on yourself. So as far as loading in goes, I recommend loading in the day before and partially setting up the day before. So if you drive, this is going to allow you to use the loading dock the day before and the morning of, between certain times. But you can expect the loading dock is going to be an absolute shit show, especially the day of. The day before is much better, and I mean it's still kind of chaotic, but it's better. Especially if you get there like on the earlier side of loading in, because usually it'll be like, I don't know, 2 to 6. You can load it on the day before. So if you get there like at 2, you're gonna be fine, and you're not gonna get threatened about your car getting towed as much. Bring someone to help you. So if you're going to be carrying stuff back and forth from the car, fucking bring your helper. Like have them like carry as much as they can. Try to just get in and get out. So you get to move on to like better things and go check out your Airbnb or whatever, like hang out for the night, go to dinner or whatever. But try to just like bring everything in one trip if you can. I bring like different little carts and things with wheels so I can pretty much grab everything in one trip. I just dump it in the booth and fucking leave. At this point, I don't even really set up the day before. Like if you're extra anxious about it, you can, but I just usually wait. Parking garages, while we're on the subject, can be expensive as fuck in the city. I want to say it's like $60 a day in Philly or something crazy like that. And then if you're staying in the host hotel, you can just walk over. You don't have to drive every day, but you can expect that the hotel is also going to charge you for parking. It's like absurd. Like any kind of big city is going to be crazy for parking. If it's cheaper and it makes more sense, consider an Uber with your group from, Friday and Saturday to the convention from your Airbnb. That's what we usually do. Cause it's like, if it's $60 to park and it's a $15 Uber ride, like I'm gonna fucking take the Uber. And then on Sunday, then you have to obviously bring your car so you can load all of your shit out. But you're only paying the absurd parking for one day in that case. And like I was saying, I set up on Friday morning usually, but if you wait till Friday morning to set up, then you can do it when the other artists are there too. So you're not like setting yourself up like up each other's asses, and you can make sure everybody has room and everything's set up like where it's going to be functional. Because if you get completely set up and then everyone else comes in the next day and they're like, fuck, this doesn't work, you're just going to take it down and do it again. So like, don't waste your time. Just wait till everyone's there, do it together. And invest in something to move yourself. Like I was saying, like I have different things with wheels and carts and stuff like that to move my stuff around. If you're driving, get a wagon. Get one of those like fold up like cloth wagons. You'll thank me forever. This is like, seems like a no brainer, but I struggle bust for a long time trying to move my stuff. But now I have a wagon. I have like a little fold up dolly that I got at like Home Depot. It's awesome. I can fit so much shit on that. Plus my toolbox has wheels, so I throw stuff on top of that. It just makes your life so much easier. They actually make tattoo beds that turn into a cart with wheels for conventions. I feel like Tatsoul makes them, but I've never had one, so I don't know how well they work, but I just see people with them and I'm like, oh, that's a great idea, but that's expensive. So I've never bought one. But if you're flying, a good hard suitcase with wheels, with good wheels, I'll say, because I've definitely been in the situation where I have like a nice suitcase, but the wheels keep fucking up and they won't spin. And I'm basically just carrying or like dragging my suitcase with all my heavy shit in it through the convention, up the stairs, across the fucking lobby. It's a pain in the ass. Make sure you have good wheels. Or you can get like a sturdy toolbox with wheels and a handle. Just be careful. I have, who makes mine? I can't remember. The one I have, I love it. I do, but it has little like little latches on the side that broke at some point. So the bottom section and the top 2 boxes don't latch together properly. And almost every time I get back to Baltimore, it doesn't really happen at other airports. It's just Baltimore. Funny. Baltimore people do not give a fuck at the airport, but it comes out and it's in pieces and like my shit's everywhere. So just make sure that if you get one of those like those rolling toolboxes that it latches really well and it's not like something that's going to easily break, because I did not think of that when I bought mine. But don't expect airports to give a fuck at all. I'm sure there's other airports that don't give a fuck. That's just the one I fly out of most. So I know it well, that I can just expect my shit to be broken when it comes out. Another way to make things easier on setup, if you're in a state that has inspections from the health department, expect that they're coming around Friday, which, no surprise to tell you this, but you're going to need to be in the booth when they get there. Just keep your ID and your license easily accessible. Put it somewhere where you're not going to forget it, where it's going to be at the booth. There's no way that it's going to be forgotten. You can put it with your tattoo stuff if that's, the way you're going to remember it. And be ready for their questions. They typically want to see your license, your ID, your disinfectant, like Maticide and alcohol for cleaning the skin. They want to check your inks for the expiration dates. They're going to check your needles to confirm like sterilization, expiration dates on that. They're going to look at your machines, I guess, to make sure that you're not using some kind of janky, like homemade one. I have no idea, but they want to see waivers. They want to see aftercare instructions, the bandages. Just have it all ready to go. Just be ready. Like, they're coming. If you can just have it, you get approved. They move on. You can get right to work because you can't start tattooing until they inspect your booth. So just get it over with. Like I said before, the food, expect it to suck. And if I were you, I would just plan to bring your own food. They make these awesome lunch boxes that it'll keep your food cold until you're ready to eat. And then you can just plug it in. It comes with like a car, like the little car plug or like a regular plug. So you can plug it in. It takes maybe like 30 minutes and it heats your food up. It's like incredible. Like, I didn't know this existed until like last year. So you can have like a real meal and it's hot and you don't have to like go searching for a microwave or anything. You can plug it in while you're tattooing, and then when it's done, take a break, eat your food real quick and get back to it. At the very least, bring snacks, protein bars, chips, whatever. Bring drinks. Usually, I think most of the conventions I've been to have like one of those water bottle refill stations. So bring like a water bottle or bring water bottles if you want. Energy drinks if you like them, because they're usually impossible to find, which I don't fucking get. And I feel like there's a market for that. So if any energy drinks that aren't Monster, because gross. Any energy drinks out there, Alani, want to set up a booth and sell fucking energy drinks, you'd probably make bank. Plan where to eat dinner early, because most of these artists are all going to be trying to eat afterwards, and it's going to be hard to find a place to eat. So you want to make reservations. I say this knowing damn well that we never remember to do this part. But just, do as I say, not as I do. But call and make reservations. As soon as you figure out where you want to eat, especially if you're in a big city, just fucking set it up. Expect that you're going to be there until closing, which is like 11 usually on Friday and Saturday. Even if you think you're going to be done early, even if you aren't doing the contest, just in my experience, you're going to get hung up talking to people. You're going to be walking around. Next thing you know, it's 11 o'clock and you're like, fuck, I meant to get out of here early and go eat. And now everything's closed. So I would also not recommend flying out on Sunday after the convention. Always plan for flying out Monday at least. I've done this a bunch of times and regretted it every single time. It's always so fucking stressful and honestly just not even worth it. Whatever time I think I'm saving, like I would rather just like get a good night's sleep and fucking leave in the morning. And besides that, Sundays are for celebration dinners with your friends and for surviving the weekend. But remember to book that reservation ahead. Like I said, Sundays are brutal trying to find a place to eat late at night. Because like everything is fucking closed. So you have to really plan that one out, because you got to think about, we're loading all of our stuff out. We have to get it back to the hotel or back to the Airbnb and then go eat. So if the convention closes at 8, you can expect it's going to be like 10, 11 by the time you actually get food. And there's not a lot of places open at 10 or 11 o'clock on a Sunday. And lastly, just some insights for you and perspective from me to you. The biggest thing that I've started to do after conventions is to look back at how it went, what didn't go well, how can I make it better, what did I forget, what do I need to add to my packing list, what do I not want to do next time, and I just adjust for the next convention. Every convention for me is a chance to just do better, to do a better tattoo, to meet more people, to get new inspiration, to find a new opportunity. Even when it's a bad convention, in quotations, bad, it still serves a purpose, which brings me to my final insight. Even if you don't get booked up the whole convention and you don't get walk-ups, take this opportunity to talk to people. Plant the seed, and maybe next year they'll come back looking for you. If you only get a handful of new followers from the convention, that's a few more local people that know who you are now. And that's more chances that next year you'll do even better. And what you don't want to do is waste an entire weekend sitting there, being antisocial, looking unapproachable, never talking to anyone, wasting an opportunity to meet someone, a potential new client, another artist that you look up to, another artist that you might have something in common with, or they work in the same state as you or whatever. Like, get whatever you can out of this experience and just make the most of it. And most of all, have fun, because conventions can be so much fun. They are stressful, yes, but I think there's just a lot more fun to be had than, just stress. All right, guys, that's it for today's episode. I hope you're feeling inspired and ready to make some moves today. Remember, it's all about showing up, putting in the work, and staying true to yourself. If you got something out of today's episode, share it with a friend who might need to hear it, and make sure to subscribe so we can keep this momentum going. Get updates on all of our latest episodes, events, and more by following us on social media at Bound by Art Project and by heading over to the website boundbyart.com. Thanks for hanging out and putting up with my shit. I'll see you next time. Now shut up, quit making excuses, and go get better.